back to Tools of Salvo. We're back in the tool shop with Vincent and Tyler. We're here to continue our saga on Contenders to the King.
Pretenders to the throne.
Well, to continue our season 8 of Game of Thrones, we have the Sig 320. Now, this is my firearm, and I stupidly put a full-size 320 on a compact frame because
Modularity.
Modularity is a thing you can do with a gun. Make it modular. It's modular, everybody. Modularity. Well, the good thing about a 320 is that it made other people in the gun community realize that just because a particular governmental agency or entity, such as the United States Army,
a big one,
just because they adopt it doesn't mean it is the best.
Quite the opposite, really.
Yes. They did a great job adopting the Berettas.
Yeah, I really like the Berettas for the troubled history they have, which if you really want to read into it is more the Army's fault than the gun. Beretta 92 is a solid handgun. And
Beretta got edged out in the military trials with the M9A3.
Which the Army wouldn't even accept in the competition.
Yes, and it was purely political, and that's a travesty.
It's a great handgun.
It is a fantastic firearm, especially with this open-top design. It's very reliable, inherently.
Stupid smooth shooting.
It's amazingly accurate, and if you hear two Glock fanboys going on about a Beretta.
I love Berettas. Yeah. In fact, I like shooting Berettas more than any other handgun I own. That's coming from a guy who prefers Glock over any brand currently available.
I will never hate on anybody who owns a Beretta, particularly a Beretta 92X. Anyways, the 320s, when they first hit the market, they were around the $500 mark for the non-night sights, for just the contrast sights. For the Nitron Sig night sights, it was $580, I believe.
They tried really hard to go after Glock's market. And marketing, you'll hear us talk about this a lot on the channel. Marketing-wise, Sig is a genius.
Fantastic in their marketing.
As a company that builds products, pretty bad.
And which is sad because they had a really good name and reputation.
I mean, a company that they're not part of, really, because Sig USA is... They're owned, but they're not operated by Swiss Arms Neuhausen, which is now just Sig in Switzerland.
Yes, because Sig Sauer in Germany went bankrupt.
And Swiss Arms Neuhausen, which is most of their old stuff, just owns the rights to Sig Sauer Inc. But Sig Sauer Inc., which is the USA division, does whatever the hell they want.
What is that? Not to be confused with Sig Rifles, I believe.
No, they're the same. Swiss Arms Neuhausen is the original Sig Rifles.
Which they're fantastic rifles.
Sig Rifles USA is owned and operated by Sig Sauer Inc., which is the US conglomerate that makes the 320. The rifles are actually okay. Some of them, the I-Series is alright. But the handguns.
Crosses had such potential.
Yeah.
Such potential.
But the handguns, man.
Yeah.
Everything they've designed. And technically, the 320 is a German gun.
I mean, I would say arguably their best handguns are just a copy of what the custom shop did before with the Legion series, the Equinox, and the Nightmare series that they discontinued and then started back.
I would say the best handguns are the copies of original West German made guns.
Which is the 226.
And their new copy of the 210, which is actually really good.
210s are great. Not
the original Swiss service arm.
I'm not a fan of the Target model, but the 210, the straight 210.
Yeah.
Is just a fantastic.
I eventually want to do a video on the full history of Sig because there's a lot of confusion. Are they American? Are they German? Are they Swiss? I will do a full video, but this video is not about that. This video is about
it is about the 320.
Holding.
So they went for modularity. It is a trigger group that is a serialized item in this firearm. That is the firearm, if you will, much like on an AR-15, the lower receiver, the stripped lower receiver is the serialized item. Whereas if you get into like a B&T or an FN SCAR, the upper is a serialized item. That is what is considered the firearm. So you can actually change out the lowers, and that's just a throwaway item. But the upper is where the serial is. On the 320, they went for ergonomics.
The serialized FCU. I thought we were going somewhere else.
No, not no.
Yeah, ergonomics and serialized FCU.
Yeah,
It's
no, the ergonomics of the 320. That they were going for ergonomics,
and they failed.
They failed.
I mean, the big selling point, and we kind of screwed up there, is that serialized FCU.
No, that's
the
truth.
fire control unit, which plucks out. That's the selling point. Because that's what I want to do. I want to convert my full-size 9mm to a subcompact 40. That's what I've been begging to do since day one.
Yeah.
They really missed. The ergonomics kind of suck. The X series guns are better.
Yes, the X series, particularly the tungsten X5.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Not $1,000 cool.
Not $1,000 cool, but if it was in the like $700 range,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Pretty sweet.
But they're super proud of that. And you can buy the grip module for that. It's around $270, and it's not $270 cool for a grip module, but it is what it is. I digress. What I was going for was the modularity was Sig's selling point.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really. I feel like they didn't highlight as much the trigger group as they did. You can change out all these parts, and all you need is the trigger group.
Yeah. If they had opened this gun up to the aftermarket,
yes.
If Magpul made grip modules,
yeah,
holy crap, that would be big. Instead, Sig makes grip modules for the gun that Sig builds you.
Yeah.
And that's a little redundant in that they're all the same.
Some people would say, well, consistency is a great thing, and no matter
certain
what.
applications, it's amazing.
Don't
mean to cut you off. I will say, you'll notice the screwdriver. You know where I'm going. Sitting next to me. Before filming, we like to play with guns.
Yes. So off camera, we're racking and firing.
Like, hey man, this gun's better than I thought. Hey man, I owned one of these 3 years ago. This one's as bad as mine.
Yep.
One of these guns broke in the middle of playing. Now, we won't tell you which gun broke. That would just be wrong to disclaim which one of these guns had a major malfunction that killed the trigger mechanism and required repairing in the middle of filming. But one of these guns had a major issue that we had to take apart and actually fix.
Fortunately, we know how to do that.
Yeah.
But for the average person, that would have been a critical failure.
Yeah. And I mean, for the sake of the video, we will not tell you which gun failed us before we even film, not even shot.
We're not even going to name it by name, Sig.
No, definitely doesn't arrive in Big Mauer and V300.
Yeah, Schmidt 320.
Yeah.
But going back into the features of the gun, it has a full-length pick rail. You can put a compact, carry, and full-size grip module on this full-size frame. However, on the subcompact, you're dead in the water.
Yeah, as far as subcompact 320.
You can go fat, medium, and skinny on the grips, but that's about it.
Well, that brings me to the big problem, the whole modularity aspect for selling. The idea is you can change caliber, slide, frame. Hey, let's say you want a subcompact 9mm and you want to go to a full-size 9mm. How much money are you going to spend to do that, Vince?
Let's see. So about $50 for the grip module.
Not bad.
Then you're going to spend about $140 for the barrel. And then you're going to spend about $270 for the slide. And if you wanted a milled out awesome slide,
yeah,
about $350 to $400. And then you're going to spend about $50 on the spring. And then that's going to have, if you wanted it cut for red dot, tack another $75 onto the slide.
And you don't want it cut for the Sig series of optics.
Yes.
They're all bad.
Then you're going to have to go just get this sent off to be milled, because they're all going to be pre-cut for the 0, the 1, the Pro, or...
They won't be cut for the 0.
Well, those are for the 365s, you're right.
But still, they're all bad. Also, the screws go upside down, and they have a tendency to fall out. I remember pulling one out of the warehouse where I work racking the slide back and just watching a screw fall out of the
Not just that, but
the grip.
If you strip one, you've now stripped it on the inside of the slide.
You can't just drill that out.
Nope.
I mean, so yeah, realistically, not going any bells and whistles. We want to upgrade. We want to change slide length, barrel length, recoil spring, frame. We're $450 in.
I can just buy for another $55 to $60
a new gun.
a new gun.
Because the Sig Sauer owning one gun is better than owning two.
And when I say $55 to $60, I mean a stock Glock. Because that's what I would get.
A good example of this is the M18. If this gun was as modular as we want to believe and it was as good as we want to believe, why wouldn't the Marine Corps just modify M17s? Instead, the Marine Corps literally said, hey, we're going to buy the shorter version. Yep. We're not going to convert. We're not going to buy kits. We're not going to buy M17s that have kits. We're going to have two guns in one. This is stupid. We'll just buy the shorter gun.
Yeah.
Because the Marine Corps, by the way, is used to Glock 19s as Sergeant Guard pistols, stuff like that, which they still buy.
Yes.
Look at MARSOC. They still have an outstanding contract with Glock.
I mean, even SEALs are running...
Yeah, they're not running 25s like we think they are, and they're not running 320s.
No, it is typically Glock 19s and occasionally a 226.
Yeah, Mark 25. The 320 is the gun I want to love when it came out, because like, okay, this is a good option. Contrary to belief, with as much as we're fanboys for Glock, I love the idea of good competition. I'll be the first to say before we even have a video about it.
We're capitalists.
Yeah. I'll be the first to say before we even have a video about it, I like the CZ P10. I like the fact that a manufacturer finally came out with a good contender to Glock.
I would say the entire P series is actually
the P09's big. The P7's a good handgun. I have one of those. We'll do a video about it not too long from now. But a good quality contender to Glock is that's great. That's the way the market should be. What we mostly see is a bunch of subpar products that the manufacturers tout as the next best thing since etc. The 320 being no exception. Yeah. It's worse trigger, worse ergonomics, higher bore axis, horrible optic options. Yeah, like I can't reiterate the Romeo 1 and the Pro are also they'll screw you. The Romeo 1 and the Romeo 1 Pro are different footprints, but you can barely tell from the human eye. Yeah. So
different plates.
Yeah.
And also like SIG optics are still relatively new to the market in the terms of in the lifespan of optics. So when you compare them to the name of like Trijicon, Leupold, I mean, it's just, I tell people when SIG comes out with a new optic, just wait.
I don't like my glass being held in by glue, and they've done that on a few models, not the pros. Overall,
well, Tyler, you can't even see the glue.
Overall, I'm just not a fan of most of what SIG's been doing. In the 320s, for example, I had high hopes. When the Army announced it, I was like, you know what, because I experimented with 320s before the Army contract. I shot them, I worked at a store that sold them, I liked them. Until I shot, I was like, this is okay. It's not really that amazing of a gun. I think we'll go back to Glock. The Army adopted them. I said, I'll give the gun a second chance. And again, this is not good. And the last 5 years now have shown me that I was right. The 320 is not a good handgun. Like, let's be honest, it's not a good enough hand. It's kind of a bad handgun in some aspects.
Again, I do feel like it boils back to people get misled by just because the military takes a contract, it doesn't mean that it's actually a good firearm.
But the Beretta was good.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I said necessarily means the Berettas were great guns. Political reasons kept them from getting the contract this time. But you know what didn't get the contract but should have?
Like and subscribe.
Tools of Salvo.